question that I wanted to bring up. Do you feel that Me Too has affected dating?
So
100%. So hey guys, I got another video for you. It's about conservatives and progressive women having an interesting debate about feminism. I don't think it's that special. I know it can be special, but then again, it's getting a little messy. You know, it's blurry. So maybe these educated women can tell me what is happening in this world, you know?
All right, so by a show of hands, who here identifies as a feminist? Okay, cool. Simon?
I don't consider myself a feminist. Just the modern day feminist movement, I don't agree with it.
it depends like what you define a feminist. If we're talking about like equal rights, then of course I don't think there's a single person who would not want equal rights between the sexes. But if we're talking about feminism today, where it's become so radicalized, then I don't want to be associated with that movement.
Totally agree. Totally agree. That's the only problem I have with feminism.
Well, I am a pro-life feminist, which I guess is something that has to be said these days since it's become so synonymous with abortion rights. But I'm a feminist because I believe in equality for women and that through our rights and liberations, we have a job to stand up for the weaker and more vulnerable and more marginalized, which also includes unborn women and men.
Hey, I have not seen that before. Hey, wait, I have to do something. That's when it's you have kids in your house and they try to have fun with everything. But yes, I didn't know pro-life. Wait, like a condom. But the fact that like, hey, we're trying to protect the vulnerable, which is the lady, I don't hear the opinion, hey, we're trying to protect the babies too. I mean,
I struggle with saying, oh, I'm a feminist, but also support women's rights at the same time.
I wouldn't identify as a modern feminist because I don't really feel any affinity for third wave feminism, any way, shape, or form, but I support social and legal equality for men and women. And so I think that I think the term feminism has been co-opted by the left in some pernicious ways.
Do you feel that women still need to fight for equality?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
did she say no?
I mean, where's the representation? I think that's the thing, coming from Texas, being surrounded by a lot of conservatives and knowing representation is important, knowing that people don't know what they don't know, and if there's not a female voice there or a woman of color or a trans person to bring these issues up to the table, it's not going to get dealt with.
I don't think that's really needed. The person that's in that gangster position, they don't eat the same food, they don't live the same life, so what the heck are they gonna represent? If he was a person that's really like me, then I would say, hey, you're kind of Caribbean, you're kind of funny, you can say certain thing naturally. Don't go like Nancy Pelosi and all those people, copy some street slang, and then you can be like, yeah, I can identify with you. No, kiss my freaking ass. That doesn't make any sense. But identification with the issue should not be how they represent their body. It should be in the way they represent their ideology. Okay, because for example, I understand that a lot of people don't see this, but when you go to my island, you can have the whitest of the whitest people speak in a way and I could be like, she's a gangster. And it doesn't have anything with what she likes in the bed or how she wants to live her life or dress. It's a way of expression. It's the way you talk, how direct you are, how you stop beating around the bush. I hate the fact that I should have somebody that looks like me to represent that. Guess what? Because if what you're saying is right, then my freaking white babies are gonna be like, Daddy, we can never be like you. We need some suntan.
Raise your hands. I just want to get her take on this as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that even though there was like this there was this awakening on the Democrat side in terms of having more women, I wouldn't say that a lot of the women that came into the Democratic Party or were representing the Democrats were not women that I felt like I could really connect with.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Very interesting point. She wasn't like dissing them. She was like, even if you went there to represent me, everything. If you don't talk the talk, nobody wants to walk with you. Even if you have the most beautiful walk. Who walks like this?
Hands, who here voted for Trump?
I just paused the video because look at her face. She knew. I mean, look at the pink lady. Look at her like, oh. She's like, what did you do? The Asian lady's like, I don't even want to look on the left or the right. And look at, oh my God.
I don't publicize my votes, actually.
I just really did not like Hillary Clinton. You know, I actually also did a lot of community work for Bernie Sanders as well. And I don't know, I literally sat in the voting booth for like, it was a long time. I honestly didn't even think he was gonna win. So part of it was a kind of a joke. But again, I don't know, but will I vote for?
Speak to the privilege that holds for that election to be a joke for you, right?
Well, like, it wasn't really a joke. I was like,
you just said it.
Well, let me recant what I meant by a joke. You know, I didn't like either party. You know, I think it was like if Bernie Sanders was on the ticket, I would have voted for Bernie Sanders because I really did at the time really love what he stood for, because, you know, he really did a lot of grassroots, and I related to him as a Jewish American, and I thought that socialism was the answer. And then, you know, but then what happened with Hillary Clinton when she stole the election from him, you know, I just couldn't vote for her just because she was a woman. So I did vote for Trump.
Why
but
not
again,
write in?
Because that's wasting a vote.
But it was a joke.
But it was a joke vote, so.
Okay, well,
This is what I hate. Exactly in the previous video I did about the red pill. Okay, it's like she is trying to explain herself. She cannot get the words correctly, and she says one thing. It's like turn. We're gonna use this thing to undermine your freaking opinion. This white black-haired woman, I feel more identified with her, with the way she speaks and the way she's trying to say, you know what, I had two options and I had to choose one, and I didn't want to choose just because she looked like me. I want to choose because I identify with the way you think.
me, I support Trump simply because he a businessman, and I come from a business family. I was raised, my dad was a single dad. He owned his own business. So who?
What I was saying, Daddy is a businessman from the freaking inside. So
Vote for Trump. He's a business. No, he's a businessman. He's a whole billionaire.
It was handed to him
He's
by
an
his father.
entire billionaire. Just because his dad gave him $1 million afterwards, what does that mean? You have to keep up with that.
Do you consider yourself a Republican?
No, I'm a conservative.
But you like Trump, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
By a show of hands, do you support the Me Too movement?
I used to.
Okay. Why did you
Because
use
I
to
feel
and no
like
longer?
the Me Too movement have been hijacked by liberals. I understand. I'm a victim of molestation and stuff, so I understand that. I understand what you're going through. But to sit there and say, oh, believe all women, and just to demonize a man, I don't agree with that.
So let me add.
I don't agree with that either. I hate the fact that I'm guilty until proven innocent. And I'm like, nah, man. I mean, look, I'm not saying that assholes don't exist, okay? I'm not saying that. But the fact that everybody sees it like a celebration, like a win, that's the problem. Because whenever it might be a loss, nobody wants to recognize it because, like, we're not gonna win. It's not about winning and showing it off. It's about this person winning her battle inside and be able to go forward without people's acknowledgement. He raped me. Why? Well, believe all women. No! When did it go so far? At my job, I don't say anything. I'm like, don't touch me. I get an erection. Immediately. What? No, don't touch me. I get an erection. I got a wife. I'm only with her. So understand that I don't know the idea or the feeling to be with multiple women. If you touch me, don't yoy.
Too movement did a lot of good. But with that being said, I think the whole idea of believe all women unequivocally is also a problem because, you know, there are instances where women do lie, and, you know, we need to be very careful how we go about this.
So I want to speak to that a little bit because I very much do believe in due process. But I don't think that believe women, or when they say believe survivors, I don't think they mean believe them in the face of all evidence that points to the opposite. I think it's more like if someone comes and tells you, hey, my car got stolen, you don't tell them, prove to me that your car got stolen. There's no way I won't believe it until you can prove it. I think it's more you believe that their car was stolen and then you investigate it as if it were stolen.
That is a very stupid point. You know why? Look, when somebody denounces another person, they're supposed to investigate to the full extent. But sometimes this is not even done. The person is already assumed they are a bad person. And even after the trial happened, in some cases when they prove that you had nothing to do with them, there is still a stigma around it. You're giving people so much power that look at the Johnny Depp case. The dude got beaten in by the girl, admitted on tape, and she still win. Because the media is so ashamed of admitting defeat. I mean, look at how many girls told their father, no papa, I didn't do it, here, hate me. And back in the day, they killed black people for that. So I don't know where people are coming from. I understand we have to be serious about this, but gee, come on man. At least let's talk a little sense that hey, Me Too has to be done for the right purpose, not used as a weapon to scare people away. That was not its mission. It's used for the wrong purpose. That's the way I see it. And also, by the way, if you're a high profile celebrity or whatever, somebody that is on the news or whatever, every company will cut ties with you before the trial, if there is one. Even after the trials, maybe they don't even want you there. Even schools have kicked people out. So I don't think you can just Me Too anybody just because you want to Me Too. It has consequences.
Think of the Me Too movement and not have to face the fact that these people are suffering major repercussions in their career, like Louis C.K., Harvey Weinstein, and I'm so glad, that's wonderful. But that I have to look at Trump and he said the grab the pussy thing. Like, I cannot get over that. I cannot get over
Trump said that in privacy.
I'm sure everybody has said something weird that they don't want to have out there. Okay? All my boys' friends have, you know what, said something kinky or gangster in their 20s or whatever, or just one moment just want to look cool or cringy. I don't know. I've said stuff like that. And you know what? Sometimes when I say that, I contact the person later and I said, yo man, I didn't mean that. I got into the joke, bada beam, bada boom. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I will be careful with my jokes. Happened so many times. Life is Gucci. But if you take that conversation of mine and you put it out there, I'll be the most racist, one-eyed black man you would see in your freaking life. It became to a point so bad that somebody actually took certain information to make an example why she hated racist people, and she put it out there, and I was like, hey, what the heck are you doing?
No. This is free speech. You can say whatever you want to say.
You can say what you want,
say
but it's
whatever you want to say. That was
you.
private, and he recorded him. He violated Trump. Trump can say whatever he want to say. Women talk nasty about men and their own privacy, and so can Trump.
That about
My grandmother used to say that integrity is what happens in private, and if that I don't want a politician in the White, unfortunately that's the case, that does messed up fuck shit.
I find it kind of weird because that is one of the reasons why people liked Trump. Because Trump wasn't like other politicians. I'm not saying that you have to be nasty, but nobody trusts almost no politician. And the only reason the dude got so much attention is because he was so funny, very against social justice stuff, and I've seen the most blackest of the blackest or the immigrants or whatever against white people will be like, you know what? I kind of identify with him because we say this stupid stuff too.
Smoke weed.
That's okay with me. That's not the same as
if Obama,
that's a criminalized behavior and sexual violence.
You gotta hold everybody on the same line. If Obama can do that,
so that's a
so can Trump. Trump can say whatever he wanna say. Can we hear from Deja?
Obama smoke weed? What?
Weed is illegal in some places.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
just saying.
because it's a criminalized behavior
with no victim. If he can do that and say that and do that, then so can he.
It's a criminalized behavior with no victim.
I think the language is reprehensible. I think the language is reprehensible. I agree.
Yeah.
So I can agree with that. I also think that when we talk about like behavior of people, I think what happened with President Clinton and his intern is also a violation.
Right.
That was a power position.
Right.
That was a position that he abused. So I think there are a lot of men out there that make bad choices. So if we want to talk about the Me Too movement, I think we have to be really nuanced, but I also think we should talk about, you know, what are the dynamics of dating and how do we navigate? I mean, this is kind of scary for men and women. How do we navigate how to date in the workplace?
Don't date in the workplace.
Question that I wanted to bring up. Do you feel that Me Too has affected dating?
So
100%.
scared of dating. A lot of men are terrified of taking a girl home who's had any amount of alcohol because he doesn't want to get accused of sexual assault.
I think it's better to be worried about that than to do it and not worry about it.
I think also, you know,
No. Because I think it's very unfair that whenever you date somebody, people make error judgment. I've seen women chase men and men chase women. The problem is women can chase men and they know they can keep doing it on Facebook and harassing and nobody believes it or nobody cares. I've had that world gangster weird situation that somebody touched actually my ass and they told me, yo man, why don't you go to the HR department? I'm like, for what? For what? And then when I went, I got fired anyway because I was being a disturbance. They were just joking. Men should be afraid. They should be afraid about what they're going to say, the stupid stuff they say, because sometimes it surprises me. There's certain things I would never say to any girl because sometimes you have to learn from trial and error. It should not be like, oh my God or whatever. And it should be also a person that can learn, empathize, and later say them sorry. That's part of the thing. But the moment you make people be so afraid because one mistake can label them as a creep or whatever, and it can actually cost them their job, I don't think it's a very positive community that you're creating.
So that's one pack there.
I think for a lot of people, feminism, this wave of feminism has become synonymous with abortion. And so it's something where if you don't subscribe to abortion, then you don't belong in the feminist movement. You know, if you're pro-choice, cool. Like legally you can have an abortion in this country, but let's talk about what these other choices are as well. And how can we support women who are facing unplanned pregnancies like I had when I was 16 years old? You know, what was the support and honestly the privilege I had to be able to choose life for my son, because so many women don't have that.
If you are so afraid as I was for not having a baby, man. I mean, I've never was so kinky that I had sex without protection. Ever. Unless I had a humongous amount of trust with that woman, which was always on time with taking the pill, and she showed me also to make me feel comfortable. Because I don't make jokes with that. I don't make jokes with that. Are you free? I don't want any accidental baby. And you're going to be like, with love, it's going to work. It's going to make us together much stronger. No, man. No, miss me with that. Miss me with that. It's a child. It's another human being. The fact that you just consider it as such a simple thing that you can just do, that's going to stick with you officially for 18 months? No, 18 years.
By a show of hands, are trans women helping push forward women's movement and gender equality?
Yes?
Wait, what?
Okay. So why?
So we wouldn't have the LGBTQ rights movement if it wasn't for Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson.
Come on, you better know your history.
Right? Okay. I'm a historian. Let's go. No, but for real, like if we didn't have Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson pushing the envelope and saying no, we're saying no to police brutality. We're saying
women feel that trans women are not supporting us. It's like, well, trans women often get pushed to the corner, like we don't want you in our spaces, but yet we stand and fight. Even with like, as trans women of color, we started and supported the Black Lives Matter movement, and then oftentimes we still see Black trans women being murdered, and there's no conversation around it.
For the people that disagree, would you like to make a
I sort of disagree. I some people didn't raise their hand.
You know, I think it's interesting though, right? Because when you have to, you didn't raise your hand, which was passive, but when you have to actively deny someone like their humanity, their agency to their face, it's really something different.
I'm not denying anything. I don't have that much knowledge on it, so I'm listening and I'm learning.
Exactly.
that's beautiful.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
Hey, it's not denying. I mean, that's a very interesting point. When this lady was starting to talk, I didn't have much to say because I wasn't aware that they felt pushed out. So I don't think I should give an opinion on something that I should not understand. When people talk, I'm not gonna tell you, yes, I agree. but I'm willing to listen to get an idea where you're coming from. So I don't follow you just because of your appearance. I want to follow you because of your words and how you explain yourself. And as a person that sometimes has difficulty to put my words together, I like to listen, because that's where I listen the more, and the more I listen to somebody, the more I can understand where they're coming from. So that's it actually for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed actually the what they're talking about. I found it actually very interesting. I mean, I agreed with some women that I did not expect that they would agree, and some I wish they talked more so I could listen more. But hey, let me know your opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys next time.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Buta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam jam, turloqueta, verdeta, welcome.